Hi Shumate, so in this video we'll be learning how to make this simple short with an overlay. So this is actually a short like a knicker made with Ankara but has an overlay that makes it look like a skirt. Anyways, if this looks like what you like to learn, then you need to see this video to the very end. I'm actually excited about this one. For this style, I made use of 1.5 yards of fabric. Actually, for the overlay, I opted for fabric rather than lining. So without wasting any more time, my name is Veronica Adams Eze. Welcome to Vera Adams YouTube channel. Let's get started. So I'm going to be making use of this pattern paper. I've already gone ahead to cut it out. I did this off camera. Actually, I have quite a number of video on how to cut a short and even trouser. So if you don't know how to go about this, you can go ahead and see those videos. So right here is the front piece. I'll bring in the back piece. So the back piece is actually wider than the front piece by about 2 inches, and also on the upper part we have about 1.5 inches extension right here. So I'll go ahead and use this pattern paper to cut out the fabric. So here is the front piece for the fabric. I'll also bring in the back pieces. Note that you cut this in 2 pieces. That means at the end we have 2 pieces for the front, 2 pieces for the back, giving us a total of 4 pieces. Kindly note that I already added seam allowances to the pattern paper. So right here I have 2 pieces for the front. I'm going ahead to join it around the crotch area, just as you're seeing. So I'll go ahead and use pins to hold this down because I need to use this to cut out the overlay. But before I do that, I'll also go ahead and hold the darts on both sides because that allowance was actually added to the pattern paper. So right here is the back pieces. I went ahead to leave space for the zipper before joining around that crotch area. As you can see, I'd also gone ahead to take the darts on both sides, as you can see. So now we can move on to work on the front piece, since that is where the overlay is going to be. So right here is the front piece. You can see that I'm gonna head to join it around the crotch area and are taking the darts. So right here I'm going to bring in a fresh paper so that we can use it to cut out the overlay. So right here I'm going to place the paper beneath the fabric, and I'm going to place the short on it as so. I mean these 2 pieces for the front as so. It is important that we join it before cutting out the overlay. So I'm going ahead to pin the fabric to the pattern paper so that it doesn't shift. So once this is done, I'll come down to the hem of the short and I'll go down by 1 inch. I'll go down by 1 inch and make a mark right there. You can do half of an inch or you can do more. So you get the mid part. That's where you joined the 2 pieces together. I see that I'm tracing it out. I'll go ahead and extend this line to the pattern paper. So once this is done, I'll go to the waistline and I'll trace that waist shape out, just as you're seeing me doing. On this waistline, I'm going to mark 1 inch away from the dart area at this point and make a mark right there. So right here I'm trying to remove the pins on that side. I'll come down below and also mark 1 inch as you see me doing, and I will extend and connect this 1 inch below to the 1 inch after the dart line. So right here I'm connecting the 2 points together. Still at the bottom of this, I'm going to go ahead and mark 3.5 so that we can get that shape, that slant shape. So from this 3.5, I'm going to connect it right into that 1 inch that we left at the side. I'll come right here and I'll mark that 1 inch so that this part aligns. Yes, so I'm going to mark this 1 inch extension where the 3.5 inches stopped, and I'm going to align it properly as you're seeing me doing here. So once this is done, I'll also go ahead and adjust this bottom part and connect it to the 1 inch. I hope you understand all this. So right here we have what we need. So I'm going to go ahead to unpin the fabric from the pattern paper and then go ahead to cut out. So this is exactly what we need for the overlay for this short. Although in the course of making this, I realized that extension was a bit too much. But if you like what you saw at the beginning of the video, that means you can do 3.5. But if you want it shorter, you can just do 2 inches. I think 2 inches is fine. So now we can go ahead to use the pattern paper to cut out the fabric. I added 1/2 inch all around, and I cut out 2 pieces of this because I'm using the fabric also as the lining. So first thing, I would go ahead and join the bottom part. That's the part where we have the extension below. I'll join it together, and this is it. I went ahead to join the right side facing right side, and I went ahead to put a top stitch. So the part where you put a top stitch is going to represent the lining part. So I'll go ahead to close up this side. This is the side where the rope will be. Right side facing right side, I'm going to go ahead to run a stitch of 1/2 inch right from that bottom region to get to the waistline. But before we close this up, we need to create ropes. So we'll be needing 2 ropes for this. I went ahead to do this off camera, and I've already gone ahead to turn one of the rope. This is the other one. I'll go ahead to use my scissors to turn it inside out. I have about 20 inches for the length of this rope and about 1.5 inches for the width. So once this is done, I'll go ahead to give the rope a good press. I'll bring in that overlay again, and I'll bring one piece of the rope right here. I'm marking about 3 to 3.5 inches away from the waistline, and I'll go ahead to pin the rope to one side of the overlay. So once this is done, I can go ahead to close up that area. Remember that it will be right side facing right side, so I'll turn it all over. Then I'll go ahead using the chalk that I already marked earlier to run a stitch right from the bottom to the waistline. So this is what it looks like after I was done stitching. So right now I'm going to go ahead to place this overlay on the front pieces of the short, and I'll make sure that they align on the side. That is, the side on the left aligns with the side of this overlay. Remember that the overlay is in 2 pieces. That means we have 3 pieces of fabric here, 2 pieces for the overlay and 1 piece for the left side of the short. After pinning that part down, the next thing to do is to bring in the back pieces, and then I'll align the back pieces right side facing right side to the front pieces, and I'll go ahead to stitch down with 1/2 inch. I'll also repeat the same process on the part where we have the overlay. So I'll use the back piece to cover up the overlay and run a stitch. That means on this side we have 4 fabric. That's 1 piece of the back, 1 piece of the front, and 2 pieces of the overlay. So for the overlay side, I didn't completely stitch it down to the bottom. I measured about 1.5 inches away from the hem and placed a notch right there. That's where I stopped sewing. And once I was done sewing, I'll push the overlay inwards, just as you see me doing here. Then I'll continue the stitches, or I'll continue stitching right from that point. So I just stitched down the short itself. That's the back and the front pieces. So let me explain again. I went ahead to push the overlay inwards so that I can stitch only on the front and the back pieces. So once this is done, we'll have something like this. Then you can go ahead to fold this part inwards. You can either stitch it down or use an hemming gum to hold it down in place. So once this is done, we can go ahead to close up the thigh area, and I'll use 1/2 inch to stitch this area up. I'm aligning the crotch area and then properly placing everything together. Then I'll run a stitch all around, just as I'm illustrating right here. So this is what we have after everything was properly stitched. The sides are properly closed, both sides. So we forgot to insert the rope, the second rope, while we're stitching this other side. So I went ahead to loosen the stitch around that area where the rope is going to fit properly on the other side. So right here, the 2 ropes are aligning. So I'll go ahead to attach this rope to this side, then turn it inside out so that we can go ahead to stitch on the wrong side. So we'll continue from where we loosened up the stitch right into where the stitch continues, just as I'm illustrating right here. So once this is done, it means that we have everything intact. The stitches at the thigh area, at the sides, and also the 2 ropes are in place. At this point, we can go ahead to hem the bottom of this short, folding it inwards. It was at this point that I realized that we should have closed up the upper part of this overlay, since it would not be infused into the band. If you infuse this upper part of this overlay into the band, it means that you'll not be able to open up this overlay. So I went ahead to loosen it completely and then close up the upper part of this overlay, just as we closed up the side and the bottom. The only part that is supposed to be free is the part that connects to the side, the part where the back piece will join with the front piece. I hope you understand this. So I've gone ahead to do that, and right here, this is what we have. I also went ahead to run a top stitch on the lining piece. So now everything is laying well. I've also gone ahead to hem the bottom of this shirt. So the next thing to do is to attach a band to this shirt. So I'll go ahead and bring in the band that I already prepared. So I have about 1.25 inches for the width of the band. I've gone ahead to press one side inwards, and the other side will be what will attach to this part. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead to measure what I have. So I have about 28.5 inches. What I need is actually 26 inches for my waistline. So right here, I'm going ahead to attach the band to the waistline. I'll use pins to hold this down. Do this for the right side, then continue on the left side. Once this is done, I'll go ahead and close it all up. So this is what we have after we're done attaching the band to the short. So you see that the band does not cover up the overlay. So this will enable you to be able to open up the overlay and close it back. So the last part will be to attach the zipper to the shirt, which I had gone ahead to do, and this is what I have. Everything aligns properly. You can see the band and the zipper region as well. I really do hope that this tutorial was useful. If it was, give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button. If this is your first time here, I want to say welcome. Do well to subscribe. I usually post useful tutorials weekly, so kindly turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And feel free to drop any question you may have in the comment section. I'll respond to you. Till I see you in my next one. Bye.